or any interest on loan taken for the payment of income tax is not allowed as a deduction. Difference in trial balance, because difference in trial balance is a suspense account always, and we don't know the exact nature of that particular difference, so therefore difference in trial balance cannot be taken as an expenditure. Capital losses like loss on sale of machinery, loss on sale of car, etc., etc. Charities and donations, again, so this keeps repeating, charities and donations. Charities and donations paid by the assessee is not allowed as a deduction. Capital expenses like purchase of machinery, extension of building, cost of permanent signboard, fixed on office premises, etc. So this is not allowed because it is a capital expenditure. Because in order to calculate profit, what we need is only the revenue income and the revenue expenditure. So any income and expenditure in the definition of revenue can only be taken here. Of course, maybe with some exceptions, we'll come to that later. Next is contribution to staff welfare fund. Staff welfare expenditure is allowed, but here we have to be very particular. Contribution to staff welfare fund, if the assessee contributes any amount to the fund which is maintained by the staff for their own welfare, then this contribution is not allowed. Unapproved or unrecognized fund contribution, so it is very similar to that. Any contribution made to an unapproved or unrecognized fund is not allowed. Next is patents, copyrights, technical know-how purchased. Again, it becomes in the nature of a capital nature here. So only depreciation is allowed in case of any expenditure in the nature of capital. Then personal expenses. The personal expenses of an assessee, like say the assessee might have taken a medical insurance and he makes a payment of premium on that, or it may be say any amount invested by the assessee in the investments like NSS, NSC, PPF, etc. And apart from that, if the proprietor draws the salary, or the proprietor receives the bonus, or he withdraws any amount from the business, or if there is any theft in the residence of the assessee, like this. So these are all of personal nature, so these are not allowed. And then preliminary expenses. A preliminary expenditure is not allowed as a deduction in a whole and sole. That means the entire amount is not allowed, but only 5% of the amount is allowed over a period of 5 years. And then any kind of provisions on reserves, maybe like in the nature of reserve for reserve for future losses, provision for bad and doubtful debts, etc., or reserve for bad and doubtful debts. So anything like, so any provision made is not allowed, because provision itself, the name, the provision, the meaning of provision is not an expenditure. So therefore any provision or reserve is not allowed as an expenditure, it becomes inadmissible. So like that, we have, these are the inadmissible expenses generally which will come up in the calculation of the income from business or profession. And then what are exactly taken as or considered as business income in this calculation? So here specifically we have certain incomes which are given, which are maybe some of them are rare, but let us see what are those incomes here. Rent received from employees. See, rent received from employees arises only when the assessee has given the premises of his own on a concessional rent, or maybe on a regular rent also, to the employees of the organization. In that case, he receives the rent from the employees, and this is not a income which will be taken under house property, because this is the rent received from the employees. It is not a letting out to some third party. Since the person is his employee, he has let out the building, so therefore this rent is received, whatever the rent received from the employees of the organization is taken as a income of the business itself. And then interest from debtors for delayed payment. If the debtors has made a payment after the due date, then the assessee might charge a nominal interest on the outstanding amount received from the debtors. So in that case, that interest is taken as a income here. And then profit on the sale of import license. If he sells the license for a higher amount than what the cost of the license virtually purchased by him, then that profit is income. Sales, commission, sundry receipts, discount received by the assessee. Next is speculation incomes. Any speculation income, like maybe in relation to the commodity market or maybe securities market, whatever, so that will be taken as a income here. Then cash assistance received by the assessee against exports under any scheme of government of India or export incentives. So any support for the exports received from the government is taken as an income. And then customs excise duty is recoverable but earlier allowed as a deduction. So that means this is, which is in the earlier period, that is maybe in the previous years, the customs and exchange duties are allowed as a deduction, but now it is recovered. In that case, it is taken as an income because previously has already claimed it as a deduction. Now it is recovered. That means it is now received. In that case, so it will be treated as an income in the current year. And then amount of liability foregone by the creditor. If the creditor foregoes or sacrifices any liability in favor of the assessee, then such amount is considered as an income to the assessee here. And then bad debts recovered but allowed earlier. This is very similar to the earlier one, that is customs duties, say bad debts are earlier in the previous years it is allowed as a deduction because it is written off. It is a bad debt written off. But later on the same bad debt is recovered by the assessee. In that case, whenever or whichever the year, in the previous year, the bad debts are recovered, which was allowed as a deduction earlier, then it is treated as a income. So like this, these are considered as the business income in the event of calculation of the business profit. And then there are certain admissible expenses. So here we need not discuss all the admissible expenses because so we know all the general expenses which are usually taken in the P&L account are allowed as a deduction. But here there are some different or some rare expenses which are allowed as an expenditure here. Okay, just browse through this. Advertisement expenses, audit fees, bank commission, bad debts, bank cash transaction, then contributions towards rural development program and conversion of natural resources, cost of kacha well or bore well. See here, if the assessee goes for the digging of a bore well, the expenses or the cost of digging the bore well is taken as an admissible expenditure. That means allowed expenditure because water is also very important for a manufacturing activity. Then commodity transaction tax. If he makes a speculation of commodity or he enters into a commodity market, he has to pay naturally the transaction tax. It is allowed as an expenditure here. Demurrage paid to railways. So we already know that it is a general expenditure in the business activity. And then discount allowed as per IT Act. And then depreciation allowable. The establishment expenses. Expenditure on guest house or holiday home facility, that is which is provided or maintained by the assessee here. And then electricity bill or repair charges, insurance premium, rent of the premises which is used for business, etc. And then entertainment expenses to his customers or maybe even employees. And then expenditure on campaign against nationalization, expenditure on scientific research. So this is the one which is to be very carefully understood here. See, expenditure on scientific research is it is a research activity which is taken over by the assessee himself, or he might contribute some amount to those persons or those organizations or associations or universities, colleges which are into the research activity. So all this is covered under this particular item here. So therefore it is expenditure on scientific research. So there are several points to be understood here. The first one is any revenue expenditure on research carried on by the assessee is fully deductible. It is fully deductible. That means any revenue expenditure is an expenditure, we know that it's a recurring expenditure. Assume that the manufacturer, the assessee is a manufacturer and he has his own research and development wing. in his organization. So in that case, he might have appointed certain research no persons, or maybe like say scientist. Let us assume that a scientist is appointed, or maybe a person who is into research is appointed, or there are some staff members who work under this particular department is appointed. So in that case, any revenue or maybe some, there may be some say materials which are used for the research activity, or there may be some expenses related to this particular department. So anything of that sort is called as a revenue expenditure, and this is fully deductible. And then this is revenue expenditure, and this is the research activity taken up by the assessee himself. And the second point is capital expenditure on research carried on by the assessee is fully deductible. So it is the capital expenditure. See here it is an exception. See earlier we know that the capital expenditure is not allowed as a deduction, but here the capital expenditure carried on by the assessee is fully deductible if such research relates to the assessee's business. Deduction is available even if the assessee is not put into use for research by the assessee during the previous year. He spent some amount of money, say maybe say in purchase of say some